returned to the UK, and they took part in the North African landings in November '42 from HMS Fighter. So this is the sea version of the famous Hurricane of Battle of Britain fame. The prototype aircraft flew in November 1935. The original Hurricane was the first airplane in the world to bring 8 guns to bear on a target, also the first combat aircraft to do better than 300 miles an hour in level flight.
A lot of the Hurricanes operated by the Royal Navy were actually conversions of others were made by the Canadian Car and Foundry Company. This aircraft is actually marked up as it was during the war as a unit of 880 Squadron from Indomitable. The yellow patches on it were recognition features, so that anti-aircraft gunners and other fighters could see that the aircraft were British. This particular one, amongst others, was flown by a pilot called Yeovilton, who wrote a very famous book after the war called Sea Flight, which, incidentally, reading it was the reason I decided I was going to join the Royal Navy's in the Fleet Air Arm some years ago.
Extraordinary story of the way the Hurricanes operated in the ships. They started out as Hurricanes, which meant they were catapult launched off the bows of mostly merchant ships. And of course, at that stage, they couldn't land back on the ship, so they either had to go and land on land or ditch beside the ship and hope that they'd be picked up.
The decision to launch rested with the civilian master of the merchant ship. Quite often they were reluctant to do so.
One of the great Sea Hurricane battles was in defense of the Malta convoy, the place of the Sea Hurricane, the Hellcat.
Lovely sound.
Made by Grumman in America, the F6
made the comment, he was in another squadron, he said, he loves the Hellcat so much.
Alex Brashew, who at one time was the US Navy's highest scoring ace, and is still their 4th ever highest scoring fighter ace.
Smoke heading down towards the water. I could see the tail gunner still taking a shot at me at the thing, and for a split second I felt a little sorry for the bastard.
Well, there you are, Alex Brashew. sound comes from the Pratt & Whitney R2800 double wasp engine, 18-cylinder radial, 2 rows of 9 cylinders, 2,000 horsepower it produces. It first flew in 1942, this one. It was brought into operation in the Pacific to counter the Japanese Zero fighters, which were running all over the P-40s and other American aircraft they had at the time.
Served the latter years of the war in HMS Emperor, in which they operated with the Home Fleet, Mediterranean Fleet and the East Indian Fleet on strike operations, straightening rolling stock, troops on the ground as well as air-to-air combat, and achieved a very impressive war record on the Hellcat. During 1945, the squadron was manned by Dutch aircrew and had a Dutch CO, so it had quite an Allied flavour to it.